What's up, y'all? It's Three Wheel Khalil, and today we're talking about milestones. I just hit a pretty big one by putting 1,000 miles on my Can-Am Ryker, and I'm going to tell you what I've learned from it. Let's go. A 1,000 miles. 1,000 miles. What does that mean? Now, on a car, 1,000 miles is honestly nothing. But on the bike, 1,000 miles feels like the perfect introduction. And I think that's because you're so present for those 1,000 miles. You're a part of every bit of those 1,000 miles. You're not zoning out. You're not drowning out, music and sitting at the stoplights and just cruising and, forgetting a mile or two, or, just, doing your daily commute, slogging to work. No, every bit of that first 1,000 miles on a bike, it feels so unique. It feels like you're learning actively what this bike is about, how to tame it, how to control it. And every day I'm still learning more, mind you, but that first 1,000 miles, I think, is the perfect elevator pitch for that bike. To understand what you really have in your garage. What is it worth to you? And right now, I'll be honest, this Can-Am Ryker, it's worth a whole hell of a lot to me. The feeling that I get getting on three wheels, mounting up, backing this Ryker out the garage, and setting sail for the day, it's a feeling that it's pretty hard to replicate, man. Honestly speaking, a lot of people talk about rain and cold weather, and mind you, I don't live in really cold weather. I live in Florida, so I'm sure my real cold weather peeps will set me correct. They'll set me straight on this one, but I just couldn't see myself in a situation where I wouldn't want to hit the bike at least once every other day, man, if not every day. It's just that little bit, that cruise. Luckily, right now in my career, I'm working from home. So every day I go out during lunch and I ride my bike. Just either I eat at home, take a quick little ride, or I go out and get lunch. And in a car, I feel like you zone out and enjoy the ride, listening to music and all of that. But it's almost the opposite on a bike. You almost zone in to zone out. And that may not make any sense, but it's almost like you become hyper-focused on the task of riding a bike, observing traffic, looking for any possible pitfalls, any possible hazards, controlling the bike, managing your throttle, easing into kind of becoming a better rider every day, or just, maintaining that, being a good rider. You zone in so much to that it's like you can't think of much else. You can't think of the stress of the world and this and that. You just kind of focus on riding the bike. And I'm sure, motorcycle riders who ride two wheels and, have a clutch and are manually shifting, and also my Can-Am manual brethren who ride RSS and F3s and, who have manual of those. Some people will say that there's a little bit more of an element there because, again, now you're managing a clutch, now you're managing shifting. Yeah, and that's different. But I think in general, the idea is the same. That when you get on the back of that bike and you're trying to be a conscious motorcyclist, it's almost like all of those other extraneous thoughts go out of the window. You become so tuned into controlling your ride and riding your ride that, there's just not enough room for all of the BS that comes with everyday life. And that I love more than anything. And in these 1,000 miles, that is what I've kind of understood most. One thing that I have. You know, a lot of people put speakers on their Rykers, or if you have a Spider RT or an F3 Touring, you might already have speakers on the bike. I decided to go with just a really nice communicator system. I put a Cardo Pack Talk Slim in my helmet with the JBL speaker. I think it actually sounds pretty nice. You get used to it. It's not blowing me out of the blowing out like great speakers out of the water or something like that. But it does a pretty good job, and once you get used to it, I feel like you really start to enjoy the quality. But even then, some days, like, I don't even want that, or I want music that I've heard before, because I don't want to be analyzing new words, or I just want to focus. And I think that the focusing on the minutia of riding is kind of one of the most enjoyable things about riding, because when you're focusing on riding, you can't be focusing on other things. And I think it just forces you to be present for a moment. I think we're so geared toward thinking about what's happening next. What do I have to do next week? I've got this assignment I've got to do for, college courses. I've got this review coming up for my job. I've got X, Y, and Z all piling on in your life, right? However, when you get on that bike, it's about the bike. It's not about what's going on next week. It's not about, the quarterly review. It's not about, planning for your anniversary. It's about that 15 minutes, that 30 minutes, that hour that you have on your bike. It's about the bike. And I think, to a lot of people, to a lot of bikers, to a lot of three-wheel guys like myself, it's equivalent to smelling the roses, taking time to smell the roses. And I'm just taking time to turn the throttle, So for these 1,000 miles, I think the things I'm learning most about riding, and possibly about myself, is that, I think we all need time for ourselves. And I think we all need time to shut off. And I don't mean sleep. I mean the idea of like a meditation. Some people truly sit down, meditate, push all thoughts out of their mind. Some people do deep breathing exercises. Even me, I like to do deep breathing exercises from time to time. And I think I'm realizing now more than ever that motorcycling for a lot of people is a form of meditation. It is this idea that focusing on the enjoyment of riding, the wind, the open feeling, controlling the bike, avoiding hazards, avoiding danger, that is the meditation. And it's a pretty fucking fun meditation, excuse my French. So, for all of the three-wheel guys out there, if there are any two-wheel guys watching, I get it now. I've read the 1,000-mile intro letter that my bike gave me, and I kind of get it. And for all of you guys who have either hit 1,000 miles a long time ago or are yet to hit 1,000 miles, I want to hear from you and understand, what did your bike tell you in 1,000 miles? To me, my bike told me, slow down, take a breath, you're doing all right, you're gonna get to where you want to be when it's time for you to be there. I think that's what my bike told me within my first 1,000 miles. In the comments below, tell me what your bike told you, because I'd love to know. Because I think that all these bikes, maybe they're telling us what we want to hear. Maybe they're telling us what we need to hear. Anyway, guys, speaking of milestones, just finished these first 1,000 miles on my bike, but I also just hit 100 subscribers here on YouTube, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for participating, for commenting, liking, subscribing, and helping me build a cool, awesome community that I can be proud of. I'm looking forward to all the things that we can do together, guys, so please stick with me, and remember, Life's more fun on three wheels. Peace.